the immense contribution of elderly people. Especially those who don't seem to contribute anything at all. How do you see the elderly? The 84-year-old, the 93-year-old, the 102-year-old. Good morning. Welcome to the sunrise in Magdala, from Magdala this morning. Today we'll have a little shorter session, okay? So I would like to focus. There's a very interesting combination from a family perspective today. In the readings we have, in St. John's letter, we have a reference to all the different members, all the different age groups. And in the Gospel, the big story is she's 84. Her name is Anna, like my mother, my grandmother also. And some other Annas in the Bible. Anna, the mother of Samuel the prophet. And there she is, such a devout lady, and she's always in the temple praying, doing adoration. So she's there when Jesus arrives. How many elderly people go to church to pray, go to adoration, Eucharistic adoration, to spend time pondering life and bringing so many people before God in their prayers? What a great mission. Completely underestimated. The great value, the incredible contribution that the elderly bring. There's a famous story about, I think it was Stalin, and he commented that they would be rid of the church very quickly because the only people going to church were the elderly. And they would be gone in 15 or 20 years. But it turns out that by God's grace, most of us get to be elderly. And there's always a new generation of elderly, more numerously women, but also men, whom you see. I've been around the world quite a bit, and I've celebrated Mass in, I would say, literally hundreds of different churches, all across North America and Central Europe, and then my studies in Italy and in Spain and Ireland, and there are always elderly people going to pray. All the hectic of life, all the striving and struggling comes to a point where, you know, you climb the mountain and now you're up there. And these elderly people know that God is the secret. And there they are, and they're coming to be with Him. This is an amazing feature of our world, and who knows how important their prayers are in the scale of things before God. What they're interceding. You remember the prayer of Abraham? If he could only find 10 just people, he had started out with 100. The reverence we need to show the elderly, how to cherish them, how to love them, to treasure them. Who do you know today who's elderly? Why not give them a call and say you were praying for them when you were reading this text about Anna. She was in the temple fasting and praying. She knew she belonged to God. It's amazing how many philosophers and literary geniuses and business people and all of us across all sectors, and we make our life like God's not so much in the picture at all. What incredible solidity and truth is in the behavior of these elderly people, praying and fasting, recognizing God in life, in the world, and she's there for that moment. That cannot be insignificant in the gospel stories. We have the big stories: Jesus dies on the cross, Jesus rises from the dead, he's born in Bethlehem. But this is also a biblical story. Anna praying in the temple, 84 years old. She only enjoyed a few years of married life, and her husband died so many years before. So I invite you today to actually read the text. I won't do that right now. You read the text, because it's very simple. There's no reason to underestimate and underdedicate to this. This is so beautiful, so wonderful. The psalm is, "Let the heavens be glad and the earth rejoice." So every time you see an elderly person praying, let the heavens be glad and the earth rejoice. And please give every elderly person you know great encouragement and motivation and appreciation. You will be doing immense good. There's no human being that's not assailed by doubt, by questioning. Temptations abound in every area. So we all need encouragement, we all need support. And I encourage you very much to give this encouragement and support to the elderly. Pray for them. Be in touch with them. Ask them if they need anything. Because usually they don't want to impose. They themselves have been through the life of hectic for 70, 80 years. And they know that it's tough to ask somebody, or when you're asked to do something outside your schedule, or that wrecks your schedule. Pope Francis has a wonderful line about the need for grandparents and grandchildren to be in touch, to try to make sure that this is possible, to find the way. And now with all of the technology, if there are continental different distances between us, it's possible. But especially if they're closer, to spend time together. Such an education for children to be with their grandparents, and such a delight for the grandparents to be close to the children. And sure, there can be some human problems that make all of this relationship a little bit complicated because of past things and past histories, and just to think about reconciliation, think about reopening the lines of communication. How long will our grandparents be with us? I only knew two of my grandparents, my maternal parents, my grandparents. And my grandmother passed away when I was in the middle of high school. And I had already gone to the seminary when my grandfather passed away. So, what a treasure to know your grandparents and to spend time with them. Obviously the children don't appreciate what it means. We appreciate it later when they're gone. So I encourage you to bring this. These people who are praying, these elderly people who are praying, are really carrying the banner high of witness to God. They're a light in a world that has its good share of darkness. Let's love them. Let's know them. Let's become familiar with them more and more. Let's love them. Let's support them. Let's build them up. Because through them we will get witness also of God. This is what Anna did. This was her prophecy. She went and gave witness. Well, she knew about the child. She's called the prophetess, and you say you're not a prophet. Well, that's not true because you're baptized. There are three, so to say, areas of action as a baptized person: prophet, priest, and king. The prophet is to speak on behalf of somebody. So Anna was giving witness to God. She spoke on behalf of the child, to all whom she met. And praise means we offer up the praise of creation to God. We mediate between creation and God, the common priesthood of the baptized. And then king means we put order in the world according to God's will. Thy will be done. That's bringing the order into the world that corresponds to somebody that has been under their purview. So you have, every one of us have part of the world where we're king, even if it's just your little apartment, or a little business, or an organization. Heavenly order in here, order of charity, order of good relationships, order of good management. We're all tempted in these areas where we do the right thing. There's grace there to do all of that. So you're a prophet too. You're speaking on behalf of Christ. May God bless you today, and it was wonderful being with you this morning.